G'day and welcome to the Grow a Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Trewin. Each week, we speak with an owner who has grown a business with 5 to 30 team members to something bigger. Diving into their numbers and unearthing the pain they've experienced, we explore what they did to overcome each barrier and what they would do differently from day one. Let's get into it. Welcome, everyone. Today I'm interviewing Lesley Hensell from Riverbend Consulting, based near Dallas, Texas, United States. Thanks for your time today, Lesley.
So excited to be here, Troy. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with how we know each other. Marlon from Pam Pum put us in touch. Thought you'd be a great guest.
Absolutely. And I hope that he pinned it right and I'll be a great guest.
Tell our audience a bit about your business, what it does and how it makes money.
So Riverbend Consulting is a consulting firm that helps specifically third-party sellers and vendors who sell on Amazon. A lot of people don't realize that more than half the stuff you buy on Amazon is not sold by Amazon itself. It's small business owners and people just like you and me. And so when we help solve the problems that they have on Amazon, that's how we make money. We charge them by a project fee to solve their issue.
And a lot of people don't realize, I don't know how long ago they launched FBA, Fulfilled by Amazon, but a lot of business owners don't realize that Amazon can warehouse and dispatch for you, because obviously they're a massive logistics machine, and that's just a great, as well as selling on their platform, but you can ship orders to that you've made sales on in other ways from their warehouses.
Absolutely. It makes it so much easier for even a micro business to scale, because if you're a 1 or 2 man shop, you don't want to have to actually pack and ship your orders out by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock each day, the cutoff time. So Amazon will ship them all for you. It takes that burden off and they get better postage rates than you can get anyway.
Absolutely. Maybe give our audience a bit of context there. What kind of size could a business, maybe number of orders a week or a month, would they consider looking at FBA?
Oh, goodness. I've been a seller on Amazon since 2010, which is how I got into this crazy business. And we started FBA from day one because it was a small family business and we didn't want to have to pack and ship every single day. So once we had about, I would say 200, 300 units of inventory, we started shipping to the Amazon warehouse and then used them as our warehouse. We just scaled there, let them store all of our stuff. It's a fantastic method.
And did you launch on your products on Amazon at the same time?
Yes. So once the listing detail pages are up and running, as soon as those are live and the inventory is there, Amazon makes it live automatically.
And are there specific industries you focus more to help, or geographic locations? So you just focus on businesses in the US?
So we help Amazon sellers all around the globe. Which is really fun. It makes it really interesting for us. We do have some specific industries that use us more just because they have more problems. So if you sell supplements, anything consumable, anything topical that you put on your skin, those have more compliance issues and problems. Any baby product, things that break in electronics, you're likely to come see me.
And I'm assuming a big part of how you help businesses is the marketing side of things on the Amazon platform, because I'm hearing that is quite a complex beast.
So we can help unlock some of those features. Sometimes Amazon takes away those features or doesn't offer them to you. We help unlock those. We don't do any PPC ads. We have a lot of partners we refer that to.
And how did you start out?
So I have been a seller, as I mentioned, since 2010, started going to some conferences and events. My career path is a little bit odd and all over the place. So I was a consultant who started working from home way before it was cool. I've been working from home for, I think, about 25 years now. And it's because I wanted to be at home with my kids. So I took the business background, the marketing background, all the consulting background I had in old school professional consulting, and just started doing one-on-one client work. Well, then I started selling on Amazon and I discovered there were a lot of sellers with Amazon problems. So I started helping those guys. I was doing it all myself, just, one-on-one work, small ball. And then one of my clients who was suspended, he was so frustrated and upset. He had been suspended from selling on Amazon, lost his account, was losing the millions of dollars that he'd been making on Amazon. He had already hired someone else to help him. They had failed. He came to me and said, you got to help me, got to help me. So after one appeal, I got him back up and running on Amazon. About a week later, he called me and said, we should do this as a business. I could do like the sales part, and I know all these other sellers, and you can do all of the consulting part and build a service team because you've done that before. And a few months later, Riverbend Consulting was born, and my client had turned into my business partner, Joe Zoltan.
Oh, fantastic. So what year did Riverbend officially start and how old were you then?
We started in 2017, and I was the semi-ancient age of 44 at the time. I say that because my business partner is much younger than I am. And also, Amazon is a very young industry. So I'm an elder in the Amazon world.
Yeah. And do you have some key numbers you can share to illustrate the growth of the business over the last 7 years?
Yes, absolutely. So we started out with 4 people in 2017, and no revenue, of course. And last year, we were on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing private companies in the United States.
Well done. That's phenomenal. Well done.
Yeah, it was. Thank you. It was very exciting. And at that time, our growth over the prior 3 years had been 327%
Wow. Is that per annum or over 3 years?
over those 3 years.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And how big did you get the team full-time equivalent wise?
We are knocking on 100 people now, getting really close.
Wow. Okay. That's phenomenal over 7 years.
It's been an exciting journey. And also, what's really cool is we now have people in 3 different countries, and it has really worked for us. Amazon itself has a follow the sun mentality where, someone should always be watching the store no matter what. So now we have that capability, but we've also been able to tap into skill sets in different countries. It's really helped us grow.
When was the moment you felt like you had succeeded?
Oh my goodness. So when we started, I mentioned we had 4 people. So my partner was doing sales. We had an admin. I was writing all of the client appeals, doing all of the consulting work. And then we had a person who was feeding me all of the data and helping me write SOPs. When I wasn't doing all of the work tickets myself, when every client wasn't assigned to me, I knew I was on the right track. Like that was the first step towards success because goodness, when you're working 80, 90 client tickets at a time, it's overwhelming. There's not a lot of sleeping going on.
Yeah.
So when we were able to bring other team members on and I wasn't the only client facing person, then I knew we were going to be okay.
And what does success look like to you?
So I'm going to sound really cheesy with this answer, Troy, but I mean it with all my heart. When I am doing a good job at serving my clients, serving our team members, and serving my family all at the same time, that's when I'm being successful. So like success isn't just a point that you reach, at least not to me. It's in how I'm living every day. And if I'm actually a value add in helping each of those 3 groups of people to meet their goals, to be happier, to feel fulfilled, then I'm doing the right things.
Number one thing you'd recommend to marketing a fast-growing business?
Go to your happiest clients to get more business. It is so hard to compete out there, whether you're buying ads or you're going to trade shows or you're trying to speak at events. All of those are great methods. But if you go to people who already like you, you can either expand your business with them or get them to give referrals. Ask for referrals. People like giving referrals.
It's a really good point. How did you fund the business?
So we're very boring and old school. My partner and I each put some money in a bank account and we got going that way. We have no debt.
That's terrific. No other business partners along the way, no other investors, just both the two of you. Yeah.
It's just the 2 of us, 50-50, and it is so freeing. We do not have other masters. We can really make decisions we feel are best for the business without having to consider outside parties that are not affected by the day-to-day, except in the end result of the profits.
If you were to start up today with plenty of funding, would you go into your industry?
I would, because e-commerce is where it's at. During the pandemic, e-commerce grew like crazy. Right now, there are some struggles, but it's really the kind of reorganization and change that happens in maturing industries. It's not that things are going backward. It's going to continue to go forward.
Yeah, the percentage of sales that moved online thanks to COVID, I think it was like 10 years worth of growth of market share of that because obviously everyone was locked away at home. So yeah, and it's just gone up a whole level now.
Absolutely.
Can you outline the most stressful point in your small business growth journey so our audience can learn from it?
So around the end of year one, which is I talk to so many people who, if you ask them that question, they say around the end of year one. um, you start to think, okay, we've got something going, things are going well, and you start adding some people, and then all of a sudden things get really, really tight. Um, so I think the mistake that we had made was we thought we knew how to bring in clients, and we were only focusing on those ways of bringing in clients. We should have said, let's find 10 ways to bring in clients, and started pecking away at all of them at the same time. And because of that, cash flow was really, really tight. Once we started to expand those sources to bring in business, everything changed for the better.
So it was more around the cost base increasing because of the team members and not quite enough work there to cover that rather than people issues.
Absolutely. It's so hard to scale, even if it's tiny scaling at the beginning, to get enough revenue to pay for that headcount.
Yeah, it's something I coined a while ago, the growth seesaw. So you've got to walk to one end of one plank on the seesaw, which is marketing to get enough sales, then run to the other end, hire more team members to fulfill the work,
Absolutely true.
or perpetually running up and down that seesaw, especially professional service businesses. What area in business do you feel you've had to work on the most to add the greatest value?
So we have an ever growing, constantly changing team. Since we have gone from those 4 people to almost 100, people change roles, people come on, some people leave. Because we do very complex consulting where there's no easy answers, we have to have SOPs for everything, and they have to always be changing, and best practices have to be changed all the time. So having those SOPs and the best practices socialized across the entire team, and always reacting to how we can do better and socializing that across the group, it is freaking hard. And it is something we have to put effort into. And I personally put effort into every single day.
Yeah, for the audience, SOPs, standard operating procedures, very, very important, particularly if you want to grow. What have you enjoyed the least about managing fast growth?
So easy. Such easiest question you're going to ask me. It's people problems, not going to lie. And some of it is I have a real mama bear heart. And, the reason I told you a while ago that I've worked from home forever is I wanted to be available to my kids. My kids are everything. My family's everything. And I feel kind of that mama pull with my people. And I want to help them and create the best atmosphere for them. But then there's issues with performance sometimes. It happens at even the best company. And some of the people are in bad situations. So then we accommodate, and I'll pick up their slack if that's what they need, so that they can perform better for a short time. And it becomes kind of exhausting, I'll admit it, but our team is worth it. They're worth every bit of it. That's just the hard part.
What do you love most about growing a small business?
So I love that we have a super unique mission. Our goal is literally to save people's businesses. That is what we do. You get thrown off of Amazon, you lose all or a significant part of your revenue, you could go out of business. And we get to have that super unique mission that we save people's livelihoods. If you're at some giant corporation, this would just be a sliver of what you would do, and you wouldn't be close to your clients. I get to be close to clients that, when we save their business, they call with their whole team on the phone to say thank you. I mean, it's the best.
Yeah, that's awesome. What has been the biggest mindset shift for you in your small business growth journey?
Fixing client problems in the macro, not in the micro. So when I was doing, and I think this is so true for a lot of small business owners, when you start out, this could be like you're a plumber, you're an electrician, you're an accountant, you're focused on the X's and O's. You're focused on this client has this problem, let me fix this little bitty problem. Or even their big problem, but it's one problem. Getting to where you're thinking about all of these in the macro across your entire base of clients is really hard. And it also requires you to say, you know what, these 3 things I shouldn't be doing. I need to give someone else this and trust that if they do it 80% as well as I do, the 80-20 rule, it's going to be okay so that I can focus on these bigger macro problems my clients have. Letting go is hard.
Yep. Yeah, I was just saying on another cast I just recorded, I think as business owners in particular, it's in our DNA to be control freaks, but you've got to learn to delegate and trust people, and obviously support them, coach them up to that higher level of quality of work that you would have done. But otherwise, you're going to be very stressed and working long hours and not be able to grow your business.
Well, especially if you're the subject matter expert. I think anyone who's a subject matter expert is the worst, which I'm including myself in that. But if you think about lawyers and accountants, everyone knows one of these people, right, who they just have a hard time letting go. Yeah.
The number one habit you think a small business owner needs to develop and maintain?
Time blocking. And this is a thing 10 years ago I would never have said, but the world has gotten more distracting, like by a factor of 100 every year. And all of us have, how many platforms do you get messages on? Because I get messages on way too many platforms. I have multiple email accounts, multiple social media accounts where clients reach out. Then there's the phone and the other phone and the other phone. Time blocking is miraculous. And if you're on Slack or a similar program with your team, you can tell people, blocked so that they understand this is your time blocking time. So time that you've blocked to work on the business or to solve problems or to sit and think. Silence is golden. It really is, as a business owner, to really sit and think about your problem.
Maybe explain to the audience what you mean by time blocking.
So time blocking really just means taking control of your calendar in that you schedule important things that aren't appointments with other people. They're really more appointments with yourself or your tasks. So you might block time to work on your business plan for the next quarter. You might block time to write the blogs you need to write. But ideally, your entire day is time blocked. There are no open spots because you filled those open spots with things that are important to you and your business instead of your calendar only being the things that are important for other people who booked you into meetings.
Yep. Have you read Cal Newport's awesome book, Deep Work?
Oh my goodness, that's my favorite book.
Well, that saved us a question at the end then. Yeah. It's a phenomenal book, isn't it? So many great nuggets in there and stats about just how much time is wasted by people having all these distractions. I've written about it before. I think Microsoft destroyed 17.3% of world productivity when that fucking toaster was on by default when in Outlook, when an email would pop up. Bottom right corner, a little thing. It's like, squirrel, what's this? I can get distracted by this. Oh my God, there's my rant over. But it's a great book. So many great tips in there. And something we preach in our 16-week business transformation program is exactly that. Time blocking, focus time. We say mornings are the best for most people. It's got our greatest energy. Humans make 35,000 decisions a day. That's 35,000. It's huge. So your mental focus is really sapped by the end of the day. So it's been a huge game changer for me to make all those productivity changes. And so I'm glad to hear you're on the time blocking wagon as well.
Amen. And I love what you said about email too, because I should have mentioned with time blocking, I am only allowed to open my email 3 times a day.
Yep. We preach that too. Yep.
Yes. And I open it first thing in the morning. I look at it around lunchtime and I look at it at the end of the day. And then if something comes in that's truly urgent, my assistant watches my email. She will tell me. And by the way, if you think you can't afford an assistant, if you make more than $100,000 a year, you should have a virtual assistant. You can hire one from another country that will cost you almost nothing, and they can watch your email and tell you, you actually do have something important, Troy, or no, you're fine. Just focus on your stuff.
Yep, totally agree. Are you a small business owner who is ready to take your professional growth to the next level? Sign up to the Grow a Small Business Weekly newsletter. This is your go-to email every Friday and will take about 2 minutes to read. Join the Grow a Small Business community who, like you, are investing in their professional development. Each week, we curate valuable resources, whether it's expert advice, books, podcasts, industry insights, or actionable strategies. We've got you covered. Leave your email at growasmallbusiness.com/weekly. Can you talk how you've added people to the team, some wins, mistakes, and advice for those listening? I mean, over 7 years, getting up to a team of around 100, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, so we've definitely had our good and bad there. So our biggest win is paying referral fees to our existing employees. We have a really unique situation where we try and hire people away from Amazon or people who used to work at Amazon. They are the subject matter experts, and that's part of what makes us very successful. Really interesting, y'all. Do not close your mind to people who've been fired. Amazon is a horrifying workplace. They'll tell you it's a great place to work. It is not a great place to work. A lot of my team members were fired from Amazon, and they are the kind of employees that you would beg for and dream of. So don't close your mind off when people have come from difficult environments. That's a big thing. Get referrals. So we pay a referral fee to anyone who brings us someone who's eventually hired. And gosh, they cough up a lot of great resumes when you give them that extra $500 or $1,000. They love that. It's money for nothing. And then the ugly part is, when people show you who they are, you have to believe them. And we've had a couple of instances of employees where we do all the things. We do the improvement plan. We give you an opportunity to correct. But when people show you they're not going to correct, you've got to believe them, and you've got to believe them soon. If you try and rehab someone forever, it's only going to hurt you and them.
Yep, totally agree. It's another thing I coined is if they're not going to change, you need to change them, as in replace them.
Yes.
What are some of the things you recommend to building a sustainable and kick-ass culture to help with the growth?
So that's such a challenging question for me because we are about 90% virtual. We do have a sales office where all of our sales and partnerships people live. Everyone else is virtual. We also have an office, I should say, in the Philippines where we've got a bunch of folks, but some of them work from home as well. So for us, I see culture as correcting a problem in our business. So a problem in our business is we fail a lot. When you have clients who come to you with very difficult problems that they've already tried to solve, and some of them did the bad thing, right? Like they get thrown off Amazon because they're guilty. We cannot fix that for everyone. We have lots of wins, but we have a lot of failures. And so we try to correct that by celebrating the wins that we do get as much as possible. And since we're virtual, it's not like we're going to have a pizza party. So we have a lot of Slack communication that people really celebrate. We have a channel called Reinstated on our Slack. Every time you get a win, you put it in Reinstated, and you would not believe the number of like emojis and yays and just that positive feedback. It matters when you lose all the time or when you get no's and you start over. So frustrating. We also have, and this sounds so basic, but it's been huge. We have another channel we started called Kudos and Praise, and that is for non-managers, non-owners to praise their fellow employees and team members. That has been massive. People will go troll our reviews on Trustpilot and on Google and paste them in there and say, hey, did you see that Kaylee had like the best thing ever? Those boosts, it sounds small. It is not small. People like to be caught doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think most managers, another phrase I coined, manage by exception. So they only point something out when someone's made a mistake and forget the 10,000 things they got right before that mistake. And it's very demotivating for a team member.
It really is. And like I said, especially when you lose a lot. So we have to convince them that a lot of them come from Amazon, where you get fired for doing a good job, but it just wasn't as good as Bob in the next cubicle. So we have to convince people you're not going to get fired if you lose. That's not a thing here because we lose all the time, and all that praise helps to offset that feeling.
Yeah, there must be a trauma that comes with that culture there that they've come from that you have to unwire.
You're so right. We talk about that all the time. We're like, okay, that person still has the PTSD from Amazon. So be really, if you have to give them feedback on something, you got to be really gentle and explain 10 times, no one, you're not going on a PIP. No one is going to fire you. Nothing bad is about to happen. We just need you to do this differently. And then you have to talk to them later. Are you okay? It sounds ridiculous, like it's babying them. It's not. They worked in a place where if someone looks at you sideways, you think you're going to get fired.
Wow. Yeah. Tell the audience how you've handled balance.
How I've handled balance is poorly. Work life balance is so hard. It's so hard. I feel like I've finally gotten where I'm better at it, and it's probably not me. It's that my kids are older. Because I have now a 22-year-old who is not in the house and he's in college, and a 16-year-old who can drive himself places. So that has really helped me. But I have learned two important things. One is I call it walking away. And this I got from Cal Newport's books. Talk about Cal Newport, my favorite guy. He has this thing that he calls shutdown complete. It's like a routine at the end of the day to finish your day where you're like, I am not on my computer anymore. I'm walking away. So I call it just walking away. Whether it's the time of the day that has come or I'm too frustrated or a situation, I'm like, I'm shutting down. I can always revisit this tomorrow. And then my favorite thing I've been doing for the last 6 months is I call it Free Fridays. I block out a Friday. Every Friday on my calendar is completely blocked. No one can put me in a meeting unless they ask for permission, and I'm going to say no unless it's really important. And I might be here, I might not. I might take part of the day off. I might go spend some time with the kid. I might go be outside or run some errands, or I might be here working my tail off. But no one knows because I'm either working on silent so I can get stuff done, or I'm getting some free time so I can free up my brain. And lest anyone be concerned, I work a whole lot of hours. So if I take off half a Friday, it's really not that big a deal.
And how much professional development have you invested in yourself?
Probably not enough. I'll tell you what I do. I love some podcasts. I do listen to some really good business books when I'm outside. I try and get myself outside as much as possible, walk and hike, because that helps me to think better. And that's really the majority of my professional development time for the last couple of years. I do go to quite a few conferences in our industry. So I'm always learning from other people in our industry. It's funny. I feel like I'm running so much that the idea of like taking a course makes me want to scream and run away. Doesn't that sound awful, Troy? It sounds terrible.
No, that's good. I mean, you listen to a shitload of books and podcasts, so that's great professional development. I do about 10 hours a week on 1.5 speed, so 15 hours for normal speed. But it's just great to get new ideas. Not so much motivation, but it's new areas of business you want to swat up on and learn, particularly marketing for me the last 4 or 5 years. So yeah, that's great. Have you had mentors or coaches along the way?
I have, and it's been kind of interesting. I don't really have any one person who's been an overall mentor. I think part of that is because we are in a really unique industry. It's not something most people even understand what we do and how we do it. But I have individuals that I've learned from in so many different areas. I have a couple of people in marketing who've taught me so much. I have a great CPA who has really helped me understand better all the financials and all the levers we can pull to make things happen. I have a really good friend who's in the HR world, who is just a buddy, but I can call her when I have these crazy, and I don't know what to do. And she walks me through it. So I've really kind of cherry picked these different functional areas rather than have a single mentor. And really, I think that's worked out to be, even though it was unintentional, it worked out to be a great strategy, because why not use the expert or the person you're comfortable with in that particular functional area and learn from every single person about their specialty?
You have a board of directors or advisors?
No, we don't. It's me and my partner and a bunch of really great leaders in our business.
All right, Lesley, one of our final 5 questions. What do you think is the hardest thing in growing a small business?
Payroll.
Yeah. I know the answer to the next one. Favorite business book, which has helped you the most?
It is deep work. I absolutely love it. I've also got to say, though, Cal Newport has so many great books. So if you've read Deep Work, go check out the others. World Without Email is fascinating. And then he has another one that's about how to get yourself off of your freaking devices all the time.
Yeah, I haven't read that one. It's on my list. What's the title of that?
Oh, goodness. You caught me flat footed. I cannot remember off the top of my head what it is. It's an awesome book. I made my children read it.
Is it not Slow Productivity, the lost art of accomplishment without burnout? Oh,
Nope.
no, it's digital minimalization, choosing a focused,
Yes,
noisy world. That's it.
Digital Minimalism. It's a great book. And seriously, it's great for if you have a teenager, make them read it.
Yep. Any great podcasts or online learning tools used for your own professional development?
Well, see, now I sound like a broken record because you totally stole my thunder with Deep Work earlier, and everyone's going to think, wow, she's just repeat. But Cal Newport has a podcast also. He is like my productivity god, and I love him. And his podcast, people write him questions all the time, and they're questions that you've had, and he answers them, and I love it.
One tool you'd recommend to help grow a small business?
So I've got a couple. One is called Rescue Time. You don't know how much time you've wasted during the day in your office until you've put Rescue Time on your computer. Try it out. They have a free version. And also ClickUp is awesome. Some people use Asana. I love ClickUp. I think for people who always have multiple plans going, ClickUp really works.
Yeah, we use ClickUp as well. And so did the last guest I just recorded this morning. Yeah, it's a great tool. Finally, my favorite question. What would you tell yourself on day one of starting out 7 years ago?
It's not going to go how you think it's going to go, and that is okay. My whole life, I have been one of those people who plans and thinks ahead. I think 10 steps ahead. That can be positive, but man, it can be really negative if you get so hung up on things aren't going the way you think they're supposed to. And, we've had a lot of problems, a lot of challenges. It's always turned out okay. It's taken me until now to really learn to let go of what I think is how it's supposed to go.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today, Lesley. I really enjoyed our chat, and congratulations to you, your business partner, and the team, going from 4 to around 100 team members in 7 years and helping a lot of Amazon businesses that sell on Amazon will use FBA out there. So congratulations.
Thanks so much, Troy. This has been fun.
That's it. Thanks for listening. Please leave a review in iTunes or whatever platform you listen to us on. It means more small business owners will find our cast and help people with their business growth journey.